There have been some shakeups happening at the White House.
They're excited.
Yes!
This is a very informed audience.
Well, I'm not sure if they're just excited to see us or whether they're excited because some stuff's been going on in Washington.
That's it.
So, a day after Steve Bannon is removed from National Security Council.
This crowd is hilarious.
Oh, wait, there's more. The head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, remember Devin Nunes? He's recused himself from into Russia's ties with the Trump transition team, of which he was a member. And he's also under investigation by the House Ethics Committee. Anyone shocked by this?
Well, I'm shocked.
Shocked and
I'm a little shocked that they actually did what they were supposed to do. That's what's shocking.
I mean, it sounds like they had to do that, but at the same time, Nunes is using the accusations against him within the committee, the ethics.
The House.
Yeah, the accusations, the ethical accusations as the reason he's stepping aside temporarily.
Well, it has to save face.
Right, but I mean, if I'd feel a little better if they said, you know what, this should never have been the way it was. It looked bad. It didn't instill any faith that we'd be able to check ourselves.
Yeah, it was.
It tasted bad.
It was bad. And it's interesting because when you look at his statement on it, he says several left-wing activist groups have filed accusations against me with the Office of Congressional Ethics. The charges are entirely false and politically motivated. No, you were forced to resign from this investigation because you acted unethically and you acted inappropriately. That's it.
Also, Democrats were protesting it, so it must really be true.
Yeah.
Because why did they respond to Democrats?
Yeah.
Because he's guilty. So
he knew
he can go back to being a mole for the White House. He still has a job.
He also did, this is the flip-flopping though, right after he shared the information he had with the White House before the committee, he did come out and say, oh, I regret doing that. But then he doubled down about recusing himself from his role, and now he's stepping down. So it's like a little bit of a...
Well, you know, go ahead, baby.
I mean, Sessions also stepped out of the Russian probe. How many other people in this administration and Flynn, how many people have to step down before we realize, wow, there must be something to this Russian investigation?
It's like, to me, they stepped down, but it's like the invasion of the body snatchers. They go away and then they bring in some other incompetent evil.
Not every time General McMaster is really good.
I like
he
him.
was replaced.
I actually find the Bannon stuff really, really interesting.
Why?
Because,
so?
well, I know a certain someone who was using President Bannon for a while, Whoopi, and there are reports that Donald Trump, now I don't know if this is true, that Donald Trump didn't like that Steve Bannon was getting a lot of the credit for being behind the scenes, but actually running the organization. And we all know that he doesn't like his ego.
You did it, Whoopi.
So maybe it had something to do with that. But I think it's interesting also.
What else can we do? Let's swap something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting because a lot of the reports also say that Bannon and Jared Kushner are at odds, and that Kushner is actually looking to get more of a bipartisan approach, less of this populism, and he's worried that Bannon's desire to kind of overthrow everything and be this populist that opposes Democrats and opposes the establishment.
He's not a populist. He's a nihilist.
They call it populism.
Well, they can call it what they want.
So it's interesting to see the internal workings shaking over there at such a close level, because we all know that Jared Kushner has the ear of President Trump very closely. So now, if he has to choose between the two, where will he go? It looks like right now he's choosing Ivanka.
Well,
that's right. That's right.
But about this,
that's right.
I think what's interesting to me, Sarah, you mentioned that McMaster is considered, you know, someone that is appropriately on this council. Oops.
I'm sorry, what did I do? Oh, my bad. It's the House Intelligence Committee. I thought I said the House Intelligence.
The Senate has two other people doing it.
It's the House Intelligence Committee.
But what I think what I read was never mind. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
It's massive.
Yeah.
Nunes is on the House Intelligence Committee.
That's...
But the White House National Security Council is the forum used by the president for consideration of national security and foreign policy matters with senior national security advisors and cabinet officials.
Right.
Now that Bannon is removed, those that were taken off of it are now back. So now you have the Director of National Intelligence, who should be on there, right? Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is now back on the committee. The Marine Corps General is now back on the committee, but the Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, is now back on the committee.
Well, they believe
he won't last either.
They believe that energy is a threat to national security in regards to Iran, and so they keep bringing that up.
But is he qualified to be back on the committee?
Well, he's actually the guy that wasn't interested in that particular job.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So it'll all continue to shake down.
Tillerson, too. I was reading that his wife told him to take that job.
Yes.
That, you know, that he didn't really want the job, so don't take it. Don't listen to your wife. I mean, these guys are unbelievable.
I think it's also significant to not underestimate the power of public pressure, though, because everyone left, right, and center was calling this Nunes thing horrific. I mean, we all differ politically on this panel, but all agreed that he should recuse himself given how he operated.
Paul Ryan.
Well, I'm saying on this panel and across the country, I think there was a lot of public pressure. So don't underestimate your power when you see something, when you call your representatives, when you complain. It does have an impact.
We'll be back with more Hot Topics. The White House has staff issues. And there are international crises that have the world on edge. But it didn't seem to stop you-know-who from taking time out of his day to weigh in on sexual harassment claims against his friend Bill O'Reilly. He doesn't... Well, all right.
Like Jerry Springer.
Calm down, y'all. But because the new guy doesn't think Bill should have said it because he's a good person.
Well, you know...
Is that what we need to hear from this guy right now?
Well, so what do you expect from the grabber-in-chief?
Well... Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he also go so far as to say he didn't think he did anything?
Yeah, he said
I don't think he did anything wrong.
He said he didn't think that Bill O'Reilly did anything wrong, and he also, this president, deemed April the Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. So he good timing. So he says this in April, but I just don't understand why he sort of just dismisses the fact that there have been 5 settlements that Bill O'Reilly has, you know, 1 lawsuit pending, and when you think about his custody battle with his ex-wife, during the custody lawsuit, his daughter testified that she had seen Bill O'Reilly choke her mother and drag her down the stairs. You know, and so I am shocked that we have this president who says that he is supportive of women, being supportive of Bill O'Reilly.
But why is he weighing in on this anyway? I mean, he doesn't know the intricacies. He knows nothing about these cases.
You know why?
It's totally irresponsible.
I think it's deliberate. I think it's because he wants to keep distracting from the Russia probe. He talks about Susan
But this is a guy, okay,
That would give him premeditation. I do not give him that much credit.
He's trying to avoid that like the plague.
I do not think it was deliberate. I think he could have taken 99 pivots on that question. I could have given him some examples, but the thing is, I actually, Sonny, with you, I don't think he does think what they do is wrong. I think the fascination with those Access Hollywood cases, that wasn't him coming back and saying, oh, I'm a different man, look back at this. I actually don't think he sees anything wrong with that. So in his mind, he's actually just being truthful.
But how is it helpful to him? If he's distracting from, let's say he's distracting from Russia, this is a guy who, his biggest issue, one of his biggest issues was how he treated women. He had a huge problem with women.
Not according to him.
Donald Trump's been accused of sexual harassment.
To him or according to his daughter. He's very good to women.
But it's so irresponsible. He just looks like a guy who has an issue with women, backing up another guy who has an issue with women with no proof.
Why do you think, I'll pose a question to the panel. Why do you think that men harass women. Guys like Bill O'Reilly and Trump.
He's denied the harassment.
Why do they do that? Then use their power against women? Is it because they can't?
It's all power. It's all power.
Because people, listen, women have been taught, and you know I have a huge issue with this. Women have been taught not to tell. Don't tell.
Yeah.
And so when you live under this idea of don't tell, it means nobody talks about anything. So it continues and continues, and people are left out there to continue to do the same thing.
But do you think that these guys can't get the girl to go out with them on?
No,
it's all about their money.
It's all power.
When does Bill O'Reilly lose his job is my question. When does Bill O'Reilly lose his job?
He probably will not. He probably will get suspended.
But 50 advertisers, over 50 advertisers have left.
But the advertisers didn't leave the network. The advertisers were diverted to other programs. So the company is still getting the money.
All I see are ads for Viagra. How come he has 50 advertisers? I see the same thing. Selena and same.
That's my favorite commercial.
Over and over, the same commercials. And yet he has 50 advertisers.
But I think we should give kudos.
One of the biggest things that's actually uniting the country right now is that everyone and their mama hated that Pepsi ad. They pulled it just hours after it was released, saying they were sorry that they missed the mark, and they apologized to Kendall Jenner. But some people ask if she or someone in her camp should have known this was a bad idea from the start. And what I would tell you is, so this is what happens. They say, listen, I'm your agent. I just got you a fabulous gig. It's for Pepsi. This is what they're going to. This is the storyboard. And they show you the storyboard, and it looks good on paper. But then you go and you shoot it, and then they edit it, and then you look at it and go, And so, I think they thought they were deeper than they were. And I don't think they were paying with the messaging. I think they thought that would be enough. And, you know, if you're 19 or 21, you know, you think it's a great thing because you think it's doing something. But, you know, generally, I know lots of 21-year-olds now that I have a lot of them in my life. And if they're not, you know, if it's not here, you know, they don't know history. They don't know what they're looking at.
I'm surprised, though, that the team around her didn't ask more questions, because when you're dealing with a topic as controversial as the protest, when I would think that was a topic you would know, this has to be handled with care. This could potentially ruffle feathers. There are people who are invested in these movements who genuinely
remember. So when you see it on paper, it looks good. It looks good in the drawing. It looks smart.
I just don't know how good it could have looked when the drawing had the police line and she was walking up to the cop with the Pepsi.
Okay, well, let me be really clear with you. So there's a picture. She's standing there with a can of Pepsi.
With the police line.
There's a picture. Yes. And as you may remember, there was a time, there's a photograph with a young lady who puts a daisy in a rifle. That's what that's supposed to symbolize. That's what it's supposed to be. Just because people do it doesn't mean it's going to work. I mean, I've made several movies where you kind of go, this is magnificent. I'm kicking butt on it. And then you see it and you're like, people have edited it. And agents can say, you know, well, I don't know, but who's around her?
You also sit in the room, you sit in a room with a bunch of executives. You're 21, you come in there, and they're selling it. There's the guy that thought of the idea that this is huge, it's unifying, it's this, and a certain part, she is 21, she hasn't had traditional schooling.
Yeah, but she's been schooled in the business because she started on Keeping Up with the Kardashians at 12.
Right, and then, what business do they cover that's even similar to controversy?
But this is a family that has made millions of dollars based on being just famous. And so when you have been in this business for 10 years, and in 2015, she already got sort of reprimanded for cultural appropriation because she wore cornrows.
That was her sister.
That's her sister.
No, it was also Kendall. It was also Kendall. And so she already had a taste of controversy. She already had a taste of what people think when you appropriate these movements.
The controversy?
No, I think she should have known better.
But the important part,
I do.
But I think you kind of just said, I actually agree with your whole beginning part. She's made her life being famous. They've been the face of campaigns.
It's a brand.
This was a dream for her to be on
I don't understand the hoopla.
But what I'm saying is, like, you're giving credit to a social awareness that I don't think I could give her the same because of the reasons you just stated, which is she has.
It's a bad commercial.
Yeah.
It's just a crappy commercial. It's a crappy idea. It didn't work. It didn't work. And you know, this cultural appropriation stuff starting to really make me crazy. It's starting to make me crazy. You know, because if we're gonna go with cultural appropriation, wear natural hair, okay? If we're gonna go, because if we're wearing white lady hair, isn't that appropriation as well? Listen, now, there are some things where you can say, hey, you need to be more sensitive, but this ain't one of them. This is a bad commercial that didn't work. It didn't work, I'm sorry, we'll be back. Going in Style stars Oscar-winning dream team of Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, and Alan Arkin, who can't get them to take his new retirement plan seriously. Take a look. Welcome, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman,
We can hear you guys all the way down in the street.
So, the three of you, I'm told, combined have 4 Oscar wins, 15 Oscar nominations, have been in close to 300 movies. Most people never get close to having a career at all. So, how is this for you guys right now? Are you having as good a time as possible?
As you used to.
Well, we're lucky to be here, really. I see articles in the paper. People died at the. I'm 84 and this, and people died. He died at 84. He had a good innings, you know. I thought I haven't even come into bat yet.
There you go.
Now, Morgan, former President Obama awarded you the National Medal of Arts last September, and you weren't able to attend the ceremony, but he had some words for you, I think.
He did?
Or about you. Let's take a look.
We also
They're mean to you.
I don't know. I never got it.
I took it.
I mean, he's one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Of course.
Oh, well, I thought it
We
would be.
miss him, don't you
Because
miss
he's
him?
married to Michelle. But you know, as soon as I get it, I'll have some idea what it means.
Okay, we'll wait. You'll come back then.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, so Michael,
Yes.
you look a little thinner than last time I saw you. Have you lost a lot of weight or what?
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight. I had some grandchildren. I had some
Carried them for 9 months, did you? Yeah, and you had them. Okay.
Yeah, but I had some grandchildren, and then I read a sentence, and it said, grandchildren, fill a hole in your heart that you didn't know was empty. Aww. And that's what it did with me. And what I did, I sort of looked in the mirror and I thought, you're too heavy. You want to live long enough to see these grow up. You better take care of yourself. So I lost.
So you lost the weight.
So, Alan, you wrote a memoir, which I don't know, I loved it.
Thank you.
It was.
You sound surprised.
And he's having a hard time saying it.
I'm having a hard time saying it because I actually listened to it. Because reading is tough for me these days, so I have to listen to everything. So hearing you talk about, and in the beginning of the book, talk about sitting with Madeline Kahn, and the question that you asked her sort of was illuminating
Yeah, it
to me
changed my
as
life,
well.
actually. It changed my life.
Would you?
Yeah, we were sitting between takes on a film, and we started talking. I said, what was your initial impulse? What was the first thing you wanted to do? I said, because she could do anything.
Yes.
And brilliantly.
Yeah.
Everybody says that all the time, but with her it was true. She had an operatic soprano that was breathtaking. She could play piano like a concert pianist. She was a brilliant actress, comedian. I said, what was your first impulse? I said, was it acting? She said, no, not really. Playing the piano? No. Was it being a comedian? No. She said, singing? No. I said, what was it? She had to think about it because nobody had ever asked her that before. She says, well, I used to listen to an enormous amount of music, she said. And then she paused. She said, and that's what I wanted to be. And I said, what? She said, I wanted to be the music.
Oh, wow.
And it was like being hit by a 2x4, and it's what I think everybody in the arts wants to be, and very few achieve that. Yeah. Every once in a while, you are the music, if you're lucky, for like an hour or 2 hours. It's like the athletes call it being in the zone.
Right.
You get that in the arts too, and that's what she was talking about, being in the zone.
Well, it's a fabulous book.
Let's talk about your new movie that you're here for, Going in Style. It's a remake of the 1979 movie.
No, it's like a retelling of it.
Or a retelling. Let me correct myself.
No, it's not. It's a reimagining.
No, it's not. It's
if it was a retelling, it would be the same thing.
It's a retelling of an imagining.
Okay, of an imagining.
Of
that imagination. That starred George Burns, Art Carney, and Lee Strasberg. The original.
Yeah. We're not George Burns enough.
Okay, wow. We're still going. Okay. Your characters...
I wasn't even represented.
Wait a minute, they're trying to talk about the movie.
That's what I'm talking about.
No,
He's talking about the original.
Oh, we did hell with that.
Now, I'm sure you guys get tons of movie scripts. What was it about this one that made you guys jump on?
That it was happening.
It was funny.
They were going to pay us.
It was funny.
It was funny?
Yeah.
The money was good.
Did you guys answer the call and say, is Morgan in? Or like,
when you get an offering, and you ask a couple of questions. Number one is who else is in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So when they say Michael, okay, I've worked with Michael a lot. This would be our
We've done this as
movies
six picture, yeah.
together.
Wow.
And Alan Arkin, whom I've never seen him do anything. I've never seen him make a false move.
Ever.
You know?
Have you ever seen a movie, Brian?
No.
That's why you never saw me make a false move.
We didn't know,
You got a
Alan.
point there.
No, we didn't know Alan, but we do now.
Well,
But you never worked with Alan. You never actually worked with Alan. And Alan is an improviser, which is a little, a different technique from him.
well, you know, he's out of Second City and all that. But
Improviser by default. Nobody had ever heard of improvisation when I started with the Second City. I didn't know how to do it myself. I had that serious acting training, which nobody even knows to this day, including me.
did you notice I was talking?
What?
What did you say?
I forget now.
Oh.
One of the other people that are not at this table that is delicious in this movie is Miss Anne Margaret.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And someone told me there's
she's
a
fabulous.
Wait a second, I heard there's a sex scene with you and Anne Margaret in it, Alan. Is it true?
Yeah.
Well, we got to keep bringing that
What's
up.
up with that?
This is it. This is the
We
sex.
didn't
This
get
is.
Oh, blimey, it's on there.
I almost touched her.
So first I'm going to say thank you to everybody, Morgan, Michael, Alan, and Going in Style is going to be in theaters Friday, April 7th. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. But here's what I'm going to ask y'all. Would you like to have your own heist?
yeah.
Would you like to have your own heist? So you're going to have your own heist because we want you to take your friends and steal away to the theater and maybe even bring your own damn popcorn because members of this audience are going home with a pair of tickets to see this movie. We'll be right back. So, T.I. Harris is about to kick off the 6th and final season of The Family Hustle. And he's been a hot topic himself lately, taking on our you-know-who. Please welcome T.I. This year, you wrote a series of open letters. The first was a farewell letter to President Obama.
Yeah.
And the second was a letter to the new guy.
Yeah.
And in that letter, you said how he needs to understand the black community and why there's so much anger and frustration.
Sure.
And when you wrote it, did you have trepidation? Did people say, don't do it? You felt pretty good?
No reservations at all, you know? I just let it fly. Just let it fly.
And, you know, Trump recently went after your pal Snoop Dogg.
Yes, he did.
He did, because Snoop did something on Twitter. Was it Twitter, I believe?
No, he did a video.
Oh.
He did a video, yeah.
No, a video, I'm sorry. He did a video where he had a fake gun
Sure.
Oh, we're showing it.
pointing at the clown, who just happened to resemble somebody we all know these days. So then you responded back to Trump with your own Instagram post.
I did.
That I cannot read on daytime television.
I would suggest. I wouldn't advise you to do that. No. I think the FCC would have major objections.
But Trump always, he writes all sorts of crazy stuff.
Sure
This
does.
particular one got to you. Tell us why.
Well, because I feel like, you know, Snoop Dogg, generationally, and myself as an artist and as a, you know, an African-American young man who came from poverty and used my life and lifestyle along with my talent to bring myself and my family up out of the wreckage and create a new way of life for ourselves. So we have a community. Okay, and in this community, you are not going to come and challenge or try to belittle or demean us or our advancements by no means, shape, form, or fashion. Whatever Snoop said, he had the right to say, and he's protected by the Constitution in saying it.
Right.
So, you know, so for Trump to get on, use his platform to say, you know, how Snoop has a failing career, whatever he said.
That always follows anybody's
It's
talking
whatever
about.
he said. Everybody who's against him has a failing career. You know, okay, listen, man. I mean, but to be honest with you, I feel like we have to protect our legends. We have to protect our heroes, the people who mean something to us and our community and our culture.
Well, but President Trump says that Omarosa's role is to bridge a gap. I mean, within the African-American community, do you think
She can't even bridge the gap in her teeth, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going for none of that. I ain't going for none of that.
Do you think this administration will do anything?
Just speaking, you know, openly and honestly about it, before we can get anywhere with this present person in office, before we can get anywhere, we have to address all of the disrespect and degrading that was done during the campaign. You know what I mean? And that was my issue with when people were going in there to meet with him, whether it was Kanye or whether it was Steve Harvey or whether it was, you know, Jim Brown, whoever it was. Not that they shouldn't be meeting, but when you go in there and meet, before you stand and smile and say this is a good man and take pictures, like what about addressing the disrespect and the disregard for our community that was done? And what about him being the poster child for white supremacy and standing for the people who look to devalue our lives
and destroy the world?
Okay, and that too. And before you address that, there's no other conversation.
That's right.
That's hello, how you doing? So what's up with the nonsense that you was doing? Like, that's the way the conversation got to go.
Well, you know, especially when the person starts out, the opening gambit was about, you know, murders and Mexicans.
Right.
And so when someone starts the conversation, comes down the thing, comes that cute little wife, and it says, this is the first thing out your mouth. You have to, you want him to address all of those things, because you can't start out hating everybody.
Right.
You just can't do it.
And anyone who's going to go in there and speak on behalf of us as a community or us as a people, you have to address the concerns of us. And that's what we're concerned about more than any of that other stuff. So without that, you ain't got no other conversation.
We have to talk about something that I absolutely love that you've done, and that is your reality show. The Family Hustle. It's about to premiere for its 6th and final season. We have watched you guys grow over the last few years. What made you decide that it was time to close this chapter?
I mean, after 100 episodes...
Oh, my God, how cute that baby.
After 100 episodes, I don't know how much more there is to share. You know? I mean, the kids have all grown and blossomed and evolved into their own personalities. And, you know, I think now it's time for everybody to enter the next phase of life.
Well, you're about to hit the road on your Hustle Gang tour, where you'll be introducing us to some of the new artists that are on your label. Tell us a little bit about that.
Man, we have a new regime at Hustle Gang. I'm extremely proud to introduce them. Everyone from a young guy named Ra Ra and a young guy named Book to a phenomenal young lady named Tokyo Jets, and also an introspective young rapper named Trans League. We have, as well as our favorites like B.O.B. and Young Dro and Trey the Truth. So we gonna go out there and turn up for the nation.
And you have 7 children.
I do.
I'm just saying that I'm shaking next to you because I only have one, but you have one that's the same age. Your youngest is 1 year old.
Yeah.
How is that having a little one run around? Eris?
Yes, Eris. I couldn't.
Shouldn't the oldest one be called Eris?
He didn't know there'd be 6 more.
It wasn't exactly anything to air at that point. But yeah, it's phenomenal. I can't imagine, you know, life without her now. She's just a beautiful addition.
Cool.
She's a
Did you get the picture I sent up to you?
That little one?
You
Which
see the
one?
picture I sent up to you? My daughter looks like
Yes.
it's the craziest
It's
thing.
uncanny.
And I swear, he's not the baby daddy. No, I thank
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Season 6 of his show, The Family Hustle, premieres April 17th on VH1. And we're so glad, that we got to see these 6 years that you've had.
Thank you so much. Thank you.